We all love to have friends, and certainly friends can have a great impact on our lives. But the Bible records the story of a man who had a friend that helped him destroy his own life and the lives of many others around him. This teaches us that we need to choose our friends wisely. And by considering this story and the wisdom that God provides concerning friendship, it will help us in choosing the right kind of friends to have. David's house reached a point where it was in complete disaster. The sins of his children are recorded in 2 Samuel chapters 13 through 18, and one of these tragic incidents involved his son Amnon. The story, recorded in 2 Samuel 13, primarily involves four individuals: Absalom, his sister Tamar, Amnon, who was their half-brother, and Jonadab, who was their cousin. Now Amnon, he had a sinful desire to be with his half-sister Tamar. Now God's law clearly prohibited such a relationship. We see this in Leviticus 18 and also Leviticus 20 and also Deuteronomy 27. But Amnon couldn't figure out how he could have her and get away with it, but he did have a friend, and a quite crafty friend at that. Now, a good friend might have sought parental counsel or at least encouraged Amnon to forget this sinful idea, to choose one of the other available women in Israel. But no, this friend developed a plan to help Amnon act on his sinful desire. Well, unfortunately, Jonadab's devious plan worked. And David, not suspecting Amnon's evil intent, sent Tamar to care for her ill brother. Well, once they were alone, Amnon tried to get Tamar to have a relationship with him, and she refused, making several arguments that any decent friend would have made before it came to this. And she argued that everyone involved would be hurt by this. She would be defiled and unfit for marriage. Amnon's reputation would be ruined. And what would Israel's enemies say when they heard that a prince of Israel had essentially raped his own sister? Well, these are the arguments that Amnon should have already heard from Jonadab. But instead, he ignored Tamar's arguments, and he forced himself upon her. Well, the fallout of this sin was enormous. Tamar's full brother, Absalom, never got over what Amnon had done, and actually 2 years later, Absalom killed Amnon. Well, this led to another chain of tragedies as Absalom went into hiding, started a rebellion against his father, and was eventually murdered himself. And all of this started with the advice of someone who Amnon called his friend. But then Jonadab re-enters the story, and he's unscathed. After Amnon is killed, Jonadab is there at David's side, trying to comfort him, when it was his plan that had set all of this into motion. But Jonadab stood there safely by the king's side. What a friend. What a friend. Now, we aren't told if Jonadab faced the consequences of his actions in life, but rest assured, if he did not repent, he did not escape the justice of God. Now, there's a lot that we can learn from this story. Amnon needed someone to look him in the eyes and tell him the truth, to tell him that his desire was sinful. He needed someone to help him overcome the temptation, not figure out how to give in to it. Friends, there's a time for gentle support, but there's also a time for tough love. And a true friend provides both. Consider these statements concerning friendship from the book of Proverbs. In Proverbs 27 and verse 6, Solomon said, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, and profuse are the kisses of an enemy." Proverbs 28 and verse 23, "Whoever rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue." When a friend has to tell you that you're wrong, it hurts at that moment. But the pain is so much worse when they help you continue down the wrong path. Now, how often have you appreciated the painful rebuke of a true friend when it deterred you from making a poor decision? But also, avoiding and ending those toxic relationships is difficult but necessary. Now, God does not prohibit us from having friends outside of the faith, but consider the impact that they will have on you. If someone, friend or family, would lead you down the wrong path, you don't need that person in your life. Nothing, including a friendship, is worth losing your soul over. Matthew 16:26. You don't need friends like Jonadab. You need true friends who will tell you when you're wrong. You need friends like Nathan in 2 Samuel 12 and verse 7. You need friends like Paul in Galatians 2 and verse 11. When those true friends tell you that you're wrong, listen to them. Listen to that wise counsel and make sure that you choose your friends wisely. Friends, we thank you for joining us for our program today, and may God bless you with a wonderful day.